name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So I want to start this video by saying that it's really a genuine, I genuinely love Big Finish. I love Big Finish, and I love the work they've done. I've been with them from before the beginning, right? Since Nick Briggs was making the audio visuals, which was a fan group that did radio plays during the 80s, when Doctor Who wasn't that great. I mean, listen, I'm enjoying season 22 box set, I'm loving it, but Doctor Who just wasn't that great. Big Visuals was a fan audio production, which was quite a lot better in a lot of cases. So they metamorphosized into Big Finish. They started off with the Bernie Summerfield audios. They're on cassette at the time. Man, think of the past now, cassettes. And I snapped them up straight away. Even though I wasn't a huge Benny fan, I've been reading the New Adventures. I was a fan of the 90s, right? That's what fandom was like in the 90s. And I've stayed with Big Finish ever since. I kind of guessed that the Benny Summerfield stuff was a audition, right, for BBC Enterprises, as it was called back then, to get the license to do Doctor Who. So I wanted to support them, and I'm very glad I did, because the work they've done has been incredible. It really has. It's uplifted fandom when we were at our absolute low. Well, I think now is when we're at our low as well. 6 months ago, before Rusty Davis returning, is when we were at our lowest. But they lived that fandom when Doctor Who was dead. They kept Doctor Who alive when Doctor Who, and they made great Doctor Who, and they made great productions, and they kept pushing it forward and giving us something traditional and new at the same time. It was a wonderful balance. They branched out into other genres, other licenses, original drama, and I've been very supportive of them for their entire time because they deserve support, right? That's really where I am. They absolutely deserve support. Also, I would like to say, and I don't think it needs to be saying, but I think it actually does in this day and age. I think everybody should feel free to pursue life, liberty, and happiness in whatever way that they want, whatever sexuality they are, whatever orientation they are. I think that's fine. I think that's good, right? I think that's a good thing in society. But I also think we are in a really bad place in society. I think we're in a really genuinely bad place in society, and we're having ideas, which I'm going to go into in detail, forced upon us in ways that we perhaps don't realize. And this isn't conspiracy theory nonsense. This is a basic understanding of history, not even that advanced, right? And I think as a society we're rejecting it as much like a body fights back against some kind of invading organism, right? It's like a natural defense. Honestly, if you want to boil it down, the expression is "go woke, go broke," right? And I understand why people don't like that. People don't like that expression because it's a bit trite, but mostly because it's true, and it's been proved to be true over and over and over again. But the trouble is, and this is really where we're getting to in this video. Do people realize what going woke is? And I don't think they do. And I don't think they realize what's going on a deeper level. So that's really what we're going to be talking about here. And of course, Doctor Who. Doctor Who, which, the reason I'm making this video is I saw this news story, which is the center of this. Which is, I don't know why I'm not spoiling it. It's the relationship between Liv and Tanya, which was a big part of the Eighth Doctor life in the last few years, is back, right? And it's something that really pushed me out the range, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't think it was out of like hatred or bigotry. If you think I'm wrong, honestly, firstly, comment, let me know what you think. And I really genuinely comment. If you want to come on and have a conversation, and I mean a conversation, right? Not a slagging match, but an actual conversation about ideas, I am delighted. I'm delighted to change my mind. I really am. Really am. If you can do that, that'll be great. That'll be fantastic. Because as I said, the basic premise is I love Big Finish, right? And I fear they are heading for a fall, right? I think they're absolutely, heading to Well, I don't know. Really, I don't know. But I am worried for their long-term survival, especially as money is tight and a recession is either here or coming, right? Along with famine and war, which is always already here, and pestilence and what's the other one? You got famine, war, pestilence, hunger. Oh no, famine is hunger. Anyway, what are the four horsemen of apocalypse? You got war, pestilence. Disease. Oh yeah, Corona. Okay, we're all covered. We're covered for everything, right? So that's where I think we are at a societal level. Saying, please comment if you have a different view to me, and please let me know. Honestly, come on the channel. I'd love to have the conversation. Fine. Before we get into it, like, share, subscribe, comment. All these things are Fan-dabby, double dozy. Thank you very much, and genuinely thank you very much for doing that. I understand it's just a click, man. It's just click, and it's that. Thank you, right? Thank you for it. But it really helps me out. YouTube, not my greatest fan. I'm very grateful for the platform, but not my greatest fan. And I think as the world gets more polarized and more insane, they are less and less my fan. Right? I live in constant, not fear. But yeah, I gotta be prepared to have my channel closed down for bogus reasons at any time, because I really don't swallow the mainstream orthodoxy. Which again, this is what this video is about. Like, share, subscribe, comment, sign up my Substack. That way, you can always find me on Rumble or wherever I end up. I have an alternative channel. Sign up my paid Substack. I promised to send out content last week, and I didn't. Maybe today. I'm sending out 3 issues this month in July. Where is it? And look, if you miss the other one, where did I put the thing? If you miss the other ones, just let me know. I will absolutely send them to you. Oh, here it is. Locking everything over as I do it. There you go. 3 issues of this biblical Bible source, atheist, creative, rational throats. It is my magnum opus. I should say, listen. I review things, and I try and be honest. Well, I think it's awesome, absolutely awesome. So you want to sign up for that? Thank you very much. Very genuinely grateful. Fine. Let's talk about history for a minute, shall we? So, I don't think peoples are intrinsically one way or another. I think societies can make decisions which will breed in behaviors. Take, for example, the disproportionately high black population in the prisons and interacting with the police in the US. I think that's a very bad thing, right? I think that's a very bad thing. Now, many have taken that to say, well, obviously it means because the police are racist and they just target black people disproportionately high. I think it's somewhat a little bit more complicated than that. I think the lower income communities, but mainly black communities within America, were given entitlements which financially encourage the breakdown of the family unit, right? Financially encourage the breakdown of the family unit. So we've had generations of fatherless children raised, and that is the biggest identifier factor in determining what your life is going to be like, right? Are you going to be a criminal? Are you going to be successful, right? And that really is it. And, having a stable family home, right? Which is something that I think we need to go back to, right? A lot. But I mean, that's why I think honestly, these ills from the left wings of the world. I think the majority of the support came from people wanting to be good, which is I think we all have a drive to be good, right? And I think that's what's driving this really terrible world we're living in right now. People wanting to be good, right? So I think that's where it came from. It had disastrous effects. I do think there was a small nucleus of people who really were racist. Left wing people who are very racist, which is where in American politics is where the KKK was basically Democrats, right? They all the races were basically on the Democrat side until it got outlawed, but. And I think the nucleus to say, we could really destroy the black population's family, drive them to crime, and it gives us everything that we want. It gives us a voting base that's dependent upon us, and we get to say how terrible black people are. I really think that's how racist people were that pushed pushed some of these policies that had a disastrous result. So let's actually talk about what's for an average human? What's the best way to have? What's the way can you have the best life, right? For an average human, what type of life gives you the most happiness? And I believe if you are a virgin when you get married, right? If you which I understand is insane for most of the Western world, right? But if you are a virgin when you get married, and the only sexual experience you have is with your spouse. Firstly, honestly, I think it makes the sex a lot better. I mean, honestly, it makes it a lot better. But more than that, if you stay with somebody, the function of sex, I think from a biblical point of view, I mean, other than being very fun, and I want to be clear, I think sex is super duper fun, and I really enjoy it, right? And it's all many facets, right? But I think the function of it is to take these two people and join them together by making an incredibly pleasurable activity, which then results often in having children, which is an incredibly labor-intensive, burdening activity, which makes your life wonderful, right? And again, it's very, very counterintuitive. But I think if you do the traditional marriage thing, and I understand, I'm not condemning anybody who didn't do this. I'm not condemning people who got divorced. Shit happens. I understand that, but, and I'm not blaming anybody. But the ideal, marrying somebody, staying monogamous for your entire life, building a family, right? Building children, building people, right? And then when you get to my age, if you've done that, your life is wonderful, right? And I'm very, very lucky. I really say that with all sincerity. I am very, very, very lucky that I became religious when I was 19. Right, so when I got married several years later, you're dating. The religious dating is you don't touch each other like before you get married, before the wedding time. So you talk with each other. But because of that, I married somebody who has a similar worldview to me, similar goals in life with me, and it's created a very fulfilling life, right? A very fulfilling life, which I think is the only way to get that life, right? And that's why, and I think for my children, it'll be much better because I think my children, their only sexual experience will be with their spouse. I mean, as far as I know, I'm not, I don't watch them 24/7, right? But I think if you can do that, that's a way to be happy, right? That's a way to get the most out of life, the most pleasure out of life, right? Now, I think that's an idea that's really genuinely under attack. So let me ask you a question. I was talking about peoples. I don't think people are intrinsically this way. I don't think black people in America are intrinsically criminal. I think that if you do that to any group segment in society, you'll destroy the family, right? You'll destroy the family, and there'll be much criminality, regardless of skin color, right? Regardless of skin color, that will probably happen, right? So I don't think the Germans in the 1930s were particularly more racist than anybody else, right? I don't think so at all. So why is it they all thought there was a popular outlook that Jews weren't people, right? Jews were vermin. Jews weren't people, and they could be exterminated. The first thing you got to do when you want to vilify a group is you got to deperson them, right? You got to make them into saying, no, that's not a person. That's just, I hate to be contemporary. You got to say that's just a clump of cells, right? That's not a person, right? So how did that happen? And again, I'm not saying, are we saying the Germans are the most evil people? No, I don't think so. I think when you have every authoritative source tell you the same thing, it doesn't matter if they're telling you as black is white and up is down, right? You will believe it, right? Everything. If you have the media, if you have all the media, you have the intelligentsia, the arts, the academia. They're all saying the same thing. And I want to remind you, right? If you don't know history, before Churchill, that naughty leader of the National Socialists in Germany, like, he was the bee's knees. People loved it, right? He had absolute popular support from the intelligentsia, basically everybody who supports the, I would say the Biden worldview, right? The Biden are the exact same people who supported that chancellor's worldview as well. So, oh yeah, no, he's going to bring everything together, and it sounds crazy, but that's what a normal people believe. So how was it? Because we are led by every authoritative source to tell us that up is down, and then people believe it. So what's going on today that really disturbs me is a real assault on normative human sexuality with a goal to disrupt, to dismantle the family. This is going to tie into Doctor Who, right? This is all going to tie into Big Finish Doctor Who, to dismantle the idea of a nuclear family, a family home. And I am all for people being able to express themselves sexually however they want to do so, right? But in the privacy of one's bedroom, or a privacy of a space dedicated for that adult situation. That doesn't happen nowadays, right? There's a real genuine push to say there are no boundaries. I don't think you can have a family-friendly drag show. I do not think that can happen, right? But the thing that really bothers me, and is really disturbing me, is this push that non-traditional sexuality is actually really good for you. And I don't think it is. I don't think you get the same good, complete life without that, right? And I understand if you're somebody who can't have that, that's fine, because your orientation isn't that way. But here's specifically what I'm talking about. Let's look at Sports Illustrated cover, right? So this was the model in this year's Sports Illustrated. You'll see that she's not traditionally beautiful. She's listen, as a fat guy, I think I can say is she's a fat chick, right? But we're being told that this is the normalized ideal of beauty. Like, this is the normalized ideal of beauty. So let's say you're a 13-year-old boy, right? And you look at this and you go, doesn't really turn me on. And I understand there's a lot of people it does turn on. Honestly, I'm not so opposed. but if you're a 13-year-old boy, you're looking at this, you're new to puberty, right? You say, I don't know. So then, what all authority is telling you is, maybe you're gay. Maybe you're trans. If you don't like that, trans women are women. If you won't date a trans woman, maybe you're gay. Maybe you don't like women, right? And we're being told that things like this, this is, if you like that, you're a weirdo. You're a toxic male. What's wrong with you, right? I am somewhat enjoying these very clear examples, right? But we're told that this isn't normative sexuality, right? And so I think we have a real crisis of sexuality with people, right? A real genuine crisis of sexuality, where young people really do not know what's going on. Now, added to that, the unlimited free pornography, and I understand it's not a popular position to say maybe all this unlimited free porn isn't good for us, right? I understand. We all like unlimited free porn. Why is there unlimited free porn? Because we all like unlimited free porn. But I don't think it's a benefit to society, right? So I think there's a lot of real genuine sexual confusion going on. And I think us as a species are somewhat rebelling against it. Go woke, go broke. So when I saw these stories these recent stories from Big Finish, I was concerned, right? I was concerned. Let's go over to here. All right, so we had we got the 8th Doctor range, which I followed right from the beginning, right? I spent a lot of money for it, and I've been very happy with that, right? Yeah, and they've rebooted several times. We're looking at the first iteration where they did seasons, and they did the Divergence arc. You can skip that. That's fine. And then they kind of just peppered them through the releases for a bit before rebooting it over here. And this reboot was awesome, right? This reboot, you had a time and date for release, and it was like they crashed the servers. Right, it was like Saturday night. And this was a real blend of modern. This was after the 2005 series started, so you had a real good blend of modern and traditional Doctor Who. And so this reboot was great as well. Went on, they did several seasons. Lucy Miller, great companion, right? If you're looking for a deep dive of Doctor Who, this is a good place to start. It really, really is. Yeah, they went back and forth. They did a couple of peppered releases, throughout the main range. But basically, this was the reboot. And then it came to an head, I should say, and they rebooted again with the Dark Eyes box set, right, which was a new way, or basically it was a new business model for Big Finish, and again, very, very successful, right? It's I love these. So I went all through the first one, which was what's called again, Dark Eyes, and then I went through the second one, Doom Coalition, which I think was probably the best one. had the 11 as the villain, which I thought was pretty darn good. Then after Doom Coalition, it kind of started to unravel. And honestly, the time it started to unravel is when the logo changed. That's a real indicator. It's bizarre, but it's true, right? It really is. That's when everything started to unravel. They had another series of Time War they were doing. So there's several strands going on. So Ravenous, and then Ravenous gave way to Stranded. Now Stranded had a pretty interesting idea at the heart of it, which is the Doctor was stranded in 20th century. However, that when they planned it, they planned it. They'll be stranded in 2020, right? Which was pandemic, and it was the first box set didn't really deal with it, so they pulled that in the second one. But that was it could have been really fascinating. But this got very, very current age. This had I would say a central part of this series was the relationship between Livchankers, the Doctor's companion, and Tanya, somebody who owned or ran the house that they stayed in. Where we are over here, doink. These two people. Now, Tanya over here, I believe has a penis. I believe is a woman with a penis. I've never looked, and God bless them. I'm really, really happy for them, right? Very good. But, it seemed to me that the character Livchankers, was from the future, and they wanted to say the normative state for humans is to be both sexually and gender fluid. And I don't think it is, right? I don't think it is, and I think it's a problem, right? I think this is an expression of, for want of a better word, religion. It's a piece of religious insanity, right? So after being with the Eighth Doctor range for all that time, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be preached to, and this was very much preaching to me, right? Very, very, very much preaching to me. And so I left the Eighth Doctor range. Now I don't know what a big demographic I am. I get a feeling I'm not tiny. Right, I get the feeling I'm not like non-existent, because I just get a lot of people seem to my channel's growing. It's quite nicely. I get a lot of people seem to agree with me, and this is a very niche market, right? So I don't know how many viewers or listeners I represent. Given that there's a paywall to get into this stuff, I think the market's really quite small, right? And I think with money getting tighter, as it is for everyone, these kind of luxury purchases are very, 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 very questionable. So anyway, when they finished the final series of the Eighth Doctor thing, and then they said, and they were rebooting the whole range, I'm like, thank God, we can move forward. We can move forward into something new. Because again, I really felt this was an expression of their crazed religion, right? Their absolute crazed religion. So when they decided to move forward, it was with exactly the same TARDIS team, right? Well, the covers were pretty good. Oh God, Time Lord Victorious, that was a flop, wasn't it? It was with exactly the same TARDIS team. Yeah, pretty good covers. But I'm sorry. Yeah, this was so wrapped around Livchankers' super relationship with Tanya, played by Rebecca Root, who I believe they presented as a woman with a penis, right? Clearly a woman with a penis, and it forced me out, right? I guess it was something that because I'm somewhat more aware of this stuff, because I'm a religious nut as well. So it forced me out. But I think it forced out a lot of people, right? I think it forced out a lot of people who are, we're in a world where we're saturated, much like the 1930s in Germany, when we were saturated. Absolutely saturated with media and academia and intelligentsia saying that Jews weren't people. And that happened, right? That happened. And please don't pretend it didn't. Please, that absolutely happened, and no one was immune from it. We're equally being saturated right now that this is a normative ideal of beauty. And if you're like this, you're a bit strange, right? Bit strange, normal. I know. This is okay, by the way. Here's the weird thing. This is okay if it's somebody who doesn't. If it's a woman with a penis who doesn't have breasts, right? Then this looks okay. The more bimbo-y you get as a drag queen, the better. That's fine. But if you're a woman being bimbo-y, that's bad, right? So yeah, I think there's that adage, go woke, go broke. I think that's where it comes from. I think we have civilization going, no, right? Like, I don't think that's real, right? I don't think that's, and I don't think they're doing it on a conscious level. I think they're doing it on a subconscious level. Which made me so I thought maybe, they had seen the plummeting cells, if they were them. I have no access to the sales data. They saw the plummeting cells, and I do think it took a hit. Okay, this is a small niche market, and Nick Briggs said in his podcast, somebody told me, that the reason they do reboots all the time is because people just get bored of something and they stop buying it. I think they misinterpreted the people not buying the standard range at the very least with consumer boredom. No, I think it was more consumer consumer revolution rather than consumer boredom, right? I think it actually fools people away. So therefore, I was somewhat miffed after having invested in all the 8th Doctor range. Now, being happy to invest in the 9th Doctor range, that they are bringing back this romance, which was, again, the reason why me, and I think a significant portion of your, of their audience, decided not to buy this. So I want to go back to my first thing I said in this video. I love Big Finish. I genuinely love Big Finish. However, if you've been in a delusion, and again, the delusion is, this is a normative ideal of sexuality, and this is weird. Normal, weird. Listen, I've never been quite so happy to be a weirdo. I'm sorry, I just saw the tag on the Let me show you. 1 second. Well, that was good. This is tonight's girlfriend. Why would you go to another girlfriend if that was tonight's one? Are you out your freaking mind? Look, this looks like an awesome girlfriend. I would say. Keep her for 2 nights, if at all possible. Okay, that's just a little aside. Why only tonight? That's just weird. Okay, whatever. I digress. This is what will happen if you Google hot porn star lingerie. Because if you don't put the lingerie, you're going to see a lot of things that you don't want to see. Or maybe you do. So anyway, so let's leave this. I think really suicidal decision of Big Finish to continue the story. It's really tone deaf that they don't understand that, and then maybe I'm wrong. Again, I want to be clear. I don't know. I don't have access to the sales data. Maybe the stranded range didn't hemorrhage listeners. But I've got literally hundreds of people going, oh, yeah, Rabbi, 100%, we stopped buying this too. And also, I have to tell you, something that people are saying, well, what is woke? How do you define woke? I would define it as a uncomfortable platforming of strange ideas within a successful franchise, right? Yeah, and another factor of it has to be the quality always goes through the floor. It's really bad quality, and that's really what I found with the Stranded ones. I was just kind of bored, right? So I think there's more things. So I'm somewhat ambivalent that this is being introduced in the 9th Doctor range, which means I was a completist for the 8th Doctor, right? I was ready to go back after Stranded, if they rebooted, but they didn't reboot. It was just more of the same. So I'm not going back to that. If I hear they're great stories, they're the best stories ever find. Frankly, I'm saturated with Doctor Who audio, right? As I have more than I can listen to. Right now, I've still got 2 Sylvester McCoy stories to listen to, which I'm really excited about, and 1 Tom Baker story to listen to. The first one, the one with the knife, was excellent, right? Really, again, want to be clear, I freaking love Big Finish, right? I love Big Finish. I want you to buy Big Finish so they continue being good, right? But it's, what they really desperately need is diversity. There is no diversity at Big Finish. There is the monoculture that Trump was the worst ever. Brexit was terrible, right? It's a monoculture. the last Space 1999 release was ludicrous. It was a ludicrous, paper-thin Brexit analogy made insanely one-sided, right? And again, it's very tone-deaf when we live in the world that we live in now. I mean, these things are being made, a year or two ago. Nobody knew how bad the world would be now. Right? Nobody knew we'll be on the brink of war, possibly nuclear war. Nobody knew that there'll be a huge recession. Well, I was predicting it a couple of years ago, but that was just me for you, all right? But I understand like people do that. So let's read the story. The Ninth Doctor runs into his former companion in the Ninth Doctor adventure, Hidden Depths, due for release November 2022. You saved me $20. Thank you there, Big Finish. But you know what? I would rather have Doctor Who that I listen to, right? I mean, this is another range that you've just got me out of now, right? And I don't think I'm the only one. I do not think I'm the only one like this. Multi-award-winning Christopher Eccleston is back at the ninth incarnation of the Time Lord in an action-packed box set of 3 full-cast audio dramas. In the third adventure, Flat Pack, Nicola Walker and Rebecca Root return as Livchankers and Tanya Bell, most recently heard in the 8th Doctor Adventures series Stranded, now happily living together in London while shopping. The couple run into a newly regenerated Ninth Doctor as he's investigating something strange. And again, listen, I'm totally fine with anybody living a type of life that they want. I'm not fine with it being, with every apparatus of, again, media, social media, telling us black is white and up is down, right? Telling us that you could have a normal, happy life when you probably can't, right? You probably can't. And as I know, happy life, having kids is a real central point of that, right? Having kids is something that's a very important part. Having kids and sticking with them and raising them is a central part of your life experience, and will give you ultimate happiness, right? That, and not doing that. And again, I'm not condemning anyone who has a sexual orientation that would prohibit that. And quite frankly, I don't mind if gay couples adopt. It's probably much better that kids are raised by in a loving household than it is by some orphan system, right? Orphanage system. I genuinely believe that, right? Genuinely, this is not coming from a position of hatred. But the other problem I have with the trans argument is this. That is not really an argument, right? But we all have to just completely agree with it. And I'm going to go into this a lot more when I do my review of the Orville tonight, which will be last night by the time this comes out, right? But I totally forgot. I lost my train of thought. Orville. Oh, I don't know. Look, they seem Rebecca Root seems very, very happy. And again, I hope she's happy, right? I hope they're all happy, right? I want people to be happy, right? I don't know if this is not an expression of psychological deep stress and distress, or theological deep distress, right? I believe all human beings have a soul, right? And I think this might be an expression of that soul being in torment. I'm not enforcing my worldview on you. I'm explaining what my worldview is. And it's not coming from hatred. It's coming from compassion, right? Live and let live. Rebecca Root, live however you want to live and be happy. Genuinely be happy, right? But again, being mentally ill is you think you're being normal. It really concerns me. It really genuinely concerns me and bothers me that we may be aiding and abetting mental illness. And I think on a wider scale, this societal adoption, that this is the message we have to go, is not going to be something that's going to benefit our children. It's not going to lead to a good life, right? And again, I really don't want you to take this out of context, which it almost certainly will be. Honestly, if you thought this was going to fly, why not make it its own series? The Liv and Tanya adventures, right? But the thing is, they actually think it is popular. They really genuinely believe it is popular, which is one of the reasons I'm making this video, right? I think believe the reality of your own sales data over your own personal prejudice. And I want to remind you, I don't think you're any different from the Germans who really didn't believe Jews were people. Right? I don't think you're any different from that. And that's not a condemnation. I just think that's what human beings are like when every piece of authority tells them the same message. Right? And honestly, I think it's coming from a good place. People should be allowed to live and let live. Fine. So they bump into a recently regenerated doctor while they're out shopping. Yeah, and that's really what the Stranded was like. It was boring like that. Fine. Yeah, I always kind of thought the Ninth Doctor was newly regenerated in Rose. I actually think Rose took place in over several different points in the Ninth Doctor's life. Like when he was first regenerated and he went back and saw them again. Chris Michael says, one of the perks of the job is seeing the caliber of actors who step through the door every day. And on Fat Pat, we had Nicola and Rebecca. Two people I enjoyed watching on so many fantastic TV shows in recent years. Nicola Walker's reasonably famous. I don't think Rebecca Root was famous at all until the age of trans domination, which is what I think what we're in, right? But Chris Eccleston, he's very woke, for want of a better word. He's very into this ideology, right? He thinks it's a good thing, and again, people think crazy things. People thought Jews weren't people, right? I don't think they were bad for thinking that. I think that they were bamboozled into thinking that. And again, why do I think that? Once again, because this is gross. And this is normal. Gross, normal, right? I am not sure. I'm not sure that's the case. I'm not sure at all. In recent years, they both provided great characters to play off, and I especially enjoyed watching the Doctor's loneliness through Liv's point of view. God, he's so miserable. I like a bit of loneliness. So Psych looks, so they put the hands down strongest writer on that story, John Dorney, right? Some things lurk beneath the surface. Was it £20 on digital download? Thank God you saved me that money. Something lurks beneath the surface of the moon. Something lurks beneath the surface, and only the Doctor can see. From the moon with poison seas to the 19th century health spa, even somewhere as every day as a furniture store on a Saturday afternoon, there's always some hidden depth, and it's always so boring. Yes, I understand it's a furniture store. Of course it would be. So you got Sea of Titans, Lay Down Your Arms, and Flat Pack. Producer David Richardson said, David Richardson, he was the originator of the Liv and Tanya romance, and for him it was super, super duper important, right? Super, super duper important. When we started planning the relationship between Liv and Tanya, we had no idea how much it went over our hearts during the making of Stranded. I think you're living in a world where you're dominated by Twitter, right? What percentage of your buying public follows the trends of Twitter? Now, maybe it's a lot larger than normal. Like, normally it's 3%, right? Maybe it's 20%, right? But I think believing Twitter, and listen, if you believe Twitter, you believe a lot of things that aren't real, right? And this is, I don't think this is a sound financial decision. And let's put it there. I think this is an ideological decision. I was like how much the audience invested in them too. I know over 100 people who stopped buying Stranded, right? But what happened to Liv and Tanya after Stranded? I don't care. They went on to meet the Ninth Doctor. What will Liv make of this new incarnation? A man so far removed from the Doctor she once knew. Okay, Nicola would have said, listeners who have never met Liv and Tanya before are in for a real treat. You're not. Okay, actors are in for a real treat, right? Like, predominantly white middle-class actors are in for a real treat. People, like, oh, look, I feel stunning and brave. Oh, I made a point. Okay, whatever. Where are they? Listen to Maitland Liv is spending some time, possibly the rest of her life on Earth in London, with a woman she loves, Tanya Bell. If you love her, again, settle down with her. And I understand, okay, the ideal of being able to have children and raise a family together and sacrifice for each other and live with each other and grow with each other, that wouldn't be possible for you. I get that. Again, if you want to, but like, you want to adopt, am I okay with that? I guess so. I'm just really worried about the character Tanya's where they are in the world, right? There's such a strong advocacy for children to have gender reassignment surgery or medication, which we have no idea. It's chemical castration or double mastectomies, right? And the reality of these medical procedures are not talked about at all. And if you're not of the age where you can decide to have sex, how are you of the age you can decide to cut your tits off and turn your dick inside out, right? Like how on earth are you of the age to do that? It seems to me this is quite a big discussion, and this is really why I'm so animated about this, right? I think the two things are very, very tied together. This is a reason for the normalization of non-cis relationships, right? This is the absolute reason for it. Is this a promising a utopia for our children to live in? Which is what they're promising us, and I don't think it is. I think it's a hellscape, right? I think it's absolute hellscape. And again, don't misconstrue what I'm saying as saying that people can't be trans, people can't have trans relationships, people can't be gay. No, everybody can do what you want. It used to be in the privacy of your own bedroom, right? If you want to hold hands, that's fine. If you want to take off your clothes and twerk at each other, at a pride parade, that's not okay. That's not okay. That's indecent. Right? And bringing children to it is wrong. I mean, again, does that mean that you cannot, I'm saying that you cannot have non-cis relationship? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, much like most heterosexual people keep their relationships in the bedroom. Like, I don't need to see, a woman waggling her tits in front of me on a parade to say, I'm proud of being heterosexual. I don't really need that. I'm much happier doing that in the privacy of my own bedroom, right? I don't think anybody needs that. And if you do need that, that might be indicative of a problem that you're having. There has been the most brilliant story. I just think you like the applause rather than you like the actual story. Liv chatted with Paul McGann's doctor for a very long time. She cared about him and is incredibly loyal to him. And while she understands intellectually there have been other doctors out there, when she's faced with that reality, it's like death for her. Well, dear, that sounds awful. Rebecca Root says, to find Liv and Tanya together, crossing over into the Ninth Doctor story is just a charm. It's a charm for you. You're getting paid for it. They'll probably make their money back on this disc. Why? That's why they put Christopher Eccleston in it. Right? Everything's about finding a hook to get people to buy stuff, right? I just don't think this is going to really stand on its own merit. Having said that, can anything stand on its own merit? I really recommend Nick Briggs' original drama, was it Human Frontier? Really clever, introspective science fiction from a viewpoint that I don't share, but asking great questions. I don't think they sold many of them, which is a shame, right? They delayed the second one for years. So, I think they need to put things in to sell it. But, I think it's probably a bad idea to put things in that will stop people buying it, which this will, right? Which is absolutely will. The environment Pac-Man is wonderfully familiar and yet quite scary with the twists and turns that happen. That could be described as nightmares. Oh, I missed out a sentence over here. It's wonderful to see how the story plays out. Tanya is settling down with Liv and wondering if it's all that they hoped it would be. How will they get along with the mundane things in life? The mundane things in life is where life really is, right? if you're looking for the romance, heart and flowers all the time, you're going to get divorced, right? You're going to get divorced, right? What's love? Love is looking at a festering boil in somebody's inner rectum. Your spouse's inner rectum, and trying to decide if it's getting better or not. Applying cream to it. That's what love is like. It's not quite as sexy as it is in the movies, but it is much more profound, much more rewarding, and much deeper. Right? It's where happiness really, genuinely is. Fine, and then you can buy it. Yeah, no, thank you. I'm so glad I didn't pre-order that whole season, right? I am so freaking glad I didn't pre-order the season. So we got that going, which I think is a bit of a strange financial decision. I will call that a strange financial decision. But then a couple of times we also had this range announced, the Sacha Dhawan Master and the Joe Martin Fugitive Doctor. So again, are these sound financial decisions? Let me go back to the images I was saying before. Again, that's totally normal. This is weird. Weird. Normal. Right? Totally normal. Let's look at how Jodie Whittaker has done. Now, I didn't put in the ratings for Legend of the Sea Devils because, quite frankly, they're so low. What's the point? At this point, Lizzie, what is the point? But this is the trajectory of the 13th Doctor. Right? It has not been successful. So, something that showed an incredible decline. I mean, it's gone from 11 million to 2 million, roughly, right? 11 to maybe 3, but I say 11 to 3, which is a 75% decline, right? So that's a 75% decline in your sales base right now. Is that decline going to be reflected in the sales base that you have? The people, the potential buyers. I don't know. But again, it's a niche product. Can you alienate a significant part of your audience? Which again, the data is very clear. Have been alienated from this Doctor Who. Can you alienate especially the Timeless Child, which Dr. Ruth really empathize as a Sacha Dhawan's Master, right? Is there enough people out there who will buy it? Now they're doing 2 box sets of each. If you get a box set 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, I'm wrong, right? But I think this is a tone deaf, not financially sound decision making, right? My initial premise was I love Big Finish. I want Big Finish to continue, right? But I think for Big Finish to continue, they need some diversity, right? You need diversity. You need a voice there to be able to say, there's a significant part of your paying audience that won't pay for this, right? If you should have had that with the Space 99 release with Earthbound, which was ridiculous, right? And if you had in diversity, you would have. Best Doctor Who, but what many people consider some of the best Doctor Who would be the Terrence Dicks, Barry Letts stuff. Now, Terrence Dicks, quite a right winger, right? Quite a Tory, happily voted Tory. Barry Letts, quite lefty, right? But we all saw each other's humanity, which is what we don't see now, right? Now, more than ever throughout society, we see dislike of the unlike and a complete intolerance of the unlike. If you don't agree completely on every issue, you are racist, you are evil. I'm taking a risk making this video, right? I am genuinely taking a risk making this video. And I take a risk making most of my videos, right? Because people hate it when you point out a different thought pattern than the one that they've been prescribed, right? Again, the Germans, they I don't think they're any different from any other people, right? I don't think they had every authoritative source telling them X, and and so eventually a lot of them believed X, right? Also, listen, if you say things that play into people's prejudices, it also helps, right? But it's the same way. We are in a society that is saturated with messaging. And I think us as a populace are somewhat pushing back against this. I would suggest for a smaller company like Big Finish, maybe don't pander to that small percent that really needs you to affirm their sexuality, right? Oh, we need you to affirm that it's great to whatever, be a furry, whatever it is tomorrow, right? Because then don't tell me it won't be something completely different and weird tomorrow. Look where we are now, right? The idea that a 13-year-old girl can demand a double mastectomy and to have her genitals turned into a penis, right? Which is an incredibly dangerous medical procedure, right? Which has an incredibly high rejection rate and comes with a risk of infection, and you've essentially got to take medication for the rest of your life because your body views these changes you make to it as injuries, right? As absolute injuries. And it tries to heal itself, right? We are not being told the truth about these things, and it's not that the truth is hidden, that we're just not being told the truth, the truth about it, which somewhat terrifying, right? I mean, I would really encourage you to go and look at the writing of John Money. Or John Money, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, who was a sexologist, who was a sick piece of shit, I think would be the scientific experiment. Like, he had twin brothers and basically forced one to be female and one to be male, and they ended up killing themselves, right? They ended up killing themselves. This stuff, I just don't think is where happiness lies. Right, and I want everybody to be happy. Again, if you're a woman with a penis, right, and you're dating a woman without a penis, that's fine. I want you to be happy, right? I'm saying the normative state for humans is to have a nuclear family, to commit to somebody, to have children, do all the boring stuff, the stuff that everybody tells you is boring. I'm telling you somebody who's actually done it. I know people who haven't, and I know people who have. Your life's better, right? Your life's better. Monogamy is good for you. Boring, but good for you. Porn, super fun, but bad for you. These are just basic truths that we gotta do. We have to address in the world. So there we go. Liv and Tanya are back. That's a short version of the video. Liv and Tanya are back. I wonder if they'll do quite well. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.